The fake heiress was tied to a pampering system. Every time I tried to please my parents, they'd end up feeling more sorry for her instead. In the end, she became the only princess in their eyes. Meanwhile, I got bullied, oppressed, kicked out of the house, and her system erased me. After being reborn, she tried to sincerely warn me, "Sis, mom's coming back soon. You should hurry up and get the foot bath ready to make her happy." What a joke. Seriously, after being reborn, was I supposed to play nice? No way. Sis, Dad said he wanted black pepper onion beef ribs before he left, and he'll be back in 3 hours. Why aren't you preparing it? Mom's already downstairs. Aren't you going to fetch her foot water to get on her good side? I was used to Sunny's self-righteous demands. I scoffed, stood up, and fetched a basin of hot water. As she smugly watched, I didn't hesitate to splash it right on her face. Drenched, she stared at me. "What are you doing? Even if you don't want to, you shouldn't splash water on me. I'm doing it all for you. If you made our parents happy, they'd be nicer to you. You just came back to the family. You've got no connections here. That's the only way you'll have a place in this house." Listening to her lame justifications, I found it hilarious. Sure, it was all for my own good. As long as I worked hard to please our parents, her pampering system could transfer their affection 100% to her. Last time, I kept trying so hard to win over our parents and fit into this family, but they just grew to dislike me. Why can't you be more like your sister? She's so considerate of us, and all you think about is competing for affection. I've told you 1,000 times, we treat you both the same. Enough. I don't want to hear your excuses. How can someone as conniving as you stay in our family? From that point on, I wasn't allowed to tell anyone I was part of this family. It was only after I died that I learned she had a system that cast me as the affection transfer target. The more I pleased our parents, the worse they liked me and favored her. I busted my chops, and she reaped the benefits. Being reborn was heaven's way of letting me go wild. If you love being a suck-up, go do it yourself. You love foot baths, knock yourself out. Just then, my mom walked in and saw the mess and a soaking wet Sunny. She paused. What happened? Sunny looked all pitiful, but tried to speak up for me to keep my parents from getting the wrong idea. "Nothing, Mom. Sis got water for your foot bath, and I just accidentally knocked it over. She's really filial, thinking of how tired you'd be after working out all day." My mom frowned at me. "Things like this should be done by the maids. You're a princess, no need to do that." I couldn't hold back. "I wasn't trying to get you a foot bath. Don't overthink it." The water on her was intentional by me. Despite the system's influence, after I said this, my mom's frown eased. Sunny looked stunned, and after a few awkward moments, she managed a dry laugh. "It's fine. I don't blame sis. She just got back from the orphanage. She's got mental scars. It's understandable." Trying to make my mom feel sorry for me. Not happening. I glared at her. "You pitying me? Do I need pity from you? I'm the real princess, and you're just a fake. Always babbling about the orphanage, proud of stealing my years." Sunny's eyes flashed with hate, but she couldn't snap back because of the system. Her face turned red, but not a word came out. My mom, seeing my bold defiance, surprisingly showed a guilty expression. "Sigh, it's all our fault. We lost you when you should have had a wonderful childhood. The system worked well. Last time, I tried my best to please everyone, and they just treated me worse. Why are you doing servant's work instead of improving yourself? Your dad and I aren't old. No need for such care. You don't focus on studies. Just compete with your sister for affection. Can you achieve anything? Enough. We shouldn't have brought you back in the first place." Now, being so wild and unruly, even made my mom feel more guilty. Guess the saying is true. To succeed, go crazy. "Okay, Sunny, your sister has a temper. Just let it go. Don't make her fetch water anymore. Just focus on yourself." Sunny jerked, then bit her lip and stayed silent. To keep mom annoyed, I of course didn't show her a good face. "Alright. Shut up and don't bug me." Upstairs to my room, I barely closed the door when Sunny knocked. "Sis, what's with you today? Why act like this towards mom and dad? Didn't you say you really wanted to stay here? If you want to stay, you've got to listen to me. Acting like this just makes them dislike you more. Seeing her it's for your own good face." I didn't hesitate, giving her a big eye roll. "Why does it matter if I stay or not? How I act is up to me. Better not mess with me, or believe me, I'll slap you." She didn't believe it. Mouth wide open, she kept going on. "How can you talk like that? You know mom and dad hate rude kids most. If you want to stay here, you'd better." Annoyed with her buzzing on and on, I raised my hand and gave her a hard slap. She was furious with a big handprint on her face. "How ungrateful can you be?" I raised a palm. "Believe me now." She gritted her teeth, angry and wanting to hit back, but I was ready, grabbed her wrist, and pushed her forward. She fell to the ground with a loud thud, her face turning pale. My dad came home and, hearing the noise, he and my mom rushed over. They were both stunned by what they saw. You two actually fought. Sunny quickly shook her head. No, I fell accidentally. It's not sister's fault. I crossed my arms, looking at her with disdain. She didn't accidentally fall. I pushed her. She came to hassle me, biting off more than she could chew. She should have known she wasn't a match for me. So why come here knowing she'd lose? My parents were silent for a moment, then surprisingly smiled at me gently. We were worried you might have turned timid at the orphanage, but seeing you can stand up for yourself reassures us. My mom even checked me over. You didn't hurt yourself, did you? Sunny, still awkwardly on the ground, was practically gnashing her teeth. Mom, Dad, how can you say that? Even if you want to care for my sister, you can't just ignore me. Can't you see I'm the one at a disadvantage here? I was shocked by their reaction. This is your sister's room, they said. If you weren't always causing trouble, would she hit you? We've told you many times, your sister had a tough life before. You should care for her, be more understanding. Why don't you get it? I found it amusing. Thanks to the system, my parents seemed to have developed X-ray vision. Sunny got up, looking hurt, and headed back to her room. Don't hold it against your sister. If it weren't for us spoiling her, she wouldn't act out. Now that you're with us again, we won't let anyone harm you. My parents comforted me, trying to ease their guilt, even handed me a card. This card has 30 million. Buy whatever you want. When it's empty, just ask us for more. I accepted the card with indifference. Okay. Sunny went to great lengths, trying to regain some favor. Mom, Dad, look, my sister made this meal for you. She knows you love fish soup, so she simmered it for 5 hours. She brought out a pot of soup, smiling at them. Their reaction was muted. Just let the cook handle things like this, they said blandly. I laughed, flipping the pot over. I didn't make this. You're trying to make them think I'm trying too hard, aren't you? You want me to feel inferior, don't you? You're a schemer, afraid I'll take your place once they warm up to me. I wasn't paranoid, just good at making a scene. My parents seemed oddly pleased with my outburst. They shot an impatient glance at Sunny. Sunny, we told you we treat you both the same. Stop being immature. These silly tricks won't help you. Sunny's eyes turned red from anger. I only wanted to help her, so you'd love her more. It's not a strategy. I scoffed, raising an eyebrow at her. I'm their real daughter. Have you ever seen parents not love their own child? Are you questioning them, or insulting me? Sis, do you look down on me? Sunny hesitated. I didn't mean that. But her meaning no longer mattered. With her system, my parents' thoughts were already warped. They reverse reacted to everything. Sunny, that's too far. How can you think that way? Apologize to your sister now, or you're out. Sunny's face went pale, then flushed. After a moment, she forced out, I'm sorry, sister. I rolled my eyes. If sorry worked, why make laws? Mom, Dad, if she's not punished, how will she learn? She'll just hurt me again, making sorry meaningless. And my parents didn't see anything wrong. Right, Sun is getting out of hand. Punishment is due. Let's dock her allowance for a month. I shrugged, unimpressed, as they confiscated her bank card. At school, without my parents around, Sunny confronted me. Annie, what's the deal? I'm trying to be nice, and you get my allowance cut. There must be some misunderstanding. Why are you acting like this? She looked at me with fake sincerity, eyes wide for effect. I laughed coldly. What? Have you been mooching for so long you feel entitled? You're not even their real daughter. You just got lucky acting as my stand-in. Do you think all this is rightfully yours? Whatever you got, you'll have to give back. Without Mom and Dad around, she dropped the act, her face hardening. Annie, you're pushing it. Just because your blood doesn't make you superior. I snorted in derision. Better than being a fake like you. She left, eyes rolling in anger. A bunch of classmates still surrounded Annie, casting smirks my way now and then. That sister of yours sure seems like an outsider, even if she's a billionaire's daughter. She's so antisocial. She hasn't even said a word to us yet. Yeah, even if you're adopted, your demeanor's miles better than hers, the real one. So, Sunny, did you talk to your parents about my suggestion? If they are willing to invest just a little, they won't regret it. Since transferring here, friendly faces have been scarce. I remember on the first day, when folks heard my parents were the wealthiest couple, they were eager to greet me and show me around. But later on, for some reason I can't really pin down, their hostility towards me just blew up. Looking back, aside from Sunny, who else would have a reason to badmouth me, making everyone around isolate me? It's ridiculous, because whenever my classmates mocked me, she'd ironically put on this compassionate face and comfort me. They're the ones at fault, not you. This is all just temporary. As long as you get through it, your parents will like you and treat you well, and others will slowly respect you. Sis, just hang in there a little longer. It'll be over soon. Yeah, it'll be over soon. I was cancelled at school and worked my butt off trying to please my parents, but her system stole their affection. In the end, I was kicked out of the house and became the punchline at the rich kids' dinner tables. They'd say, after so many years in the orphanage, she's pretty much an orphan now. Even if she puts on a royal robe, she still doesn't look like a crown prince. She's got such a cheap existence, never deserved to be the richest family's princess, destined to be a beggar. And just like that, she still wouldn't leave me alone. She really gouged out my eyes and dumped me on a busy street. I had to survive on leftover scraps, leading a truly miserable life. Now, I've decided I'm going all out. I grab a book off the desk and hurl it in Sunny's direction. What's the point of talking behind my back, huh? Why not say it to my face? Oh, I forgot. You all want to suck up to Sunny, the richest family's princess, right? So, lifting one up while putting another down is the easiest way, huh? But don't get it twisted. When I come back, my parents barely pay attention to their adopted kid. Yeah, they don't even give her pocket money anymore. In their eyes, she's like a pet cat or dog, played with when they are in a good mood, tossed aside when they are not. The book hits Sunny smack on the forehead. Before she can blow a fuse, she hears what I said and immediately slams her hand on her desk. Annie, you're outrageous. If I wasn't outrageous, would I really deserve this chance at a fresh start? I sneer. What's wrong? Poked where it hurts? Or aren't you just their pet cat and dog? Well, that's not much of an upgrade anyway. She glares at me viciously. You think if you keep this up, your parents will put up with you forever? They just still feel a bit guilty right now. But once they see who you really are, they are bound to kick you to the curb. I scoff, living in denial. You think I don't know how they really feel about you, and you're out here acting all high and mighty. You're a fake. Can't even cough up a few $1,000, yet have the nerve to flaunt yourself as the richest kid. She reddens with frustration. You're lying. My lips curl into a mocking smile. Then show us your bank balance. If they want to suck up to you, you gotta show them something real. No. Everyone watches her with eager anticipation. She fumbles with her phone awkwardly before snapping and throwing it on the ground. It's you. You set this up to have my pocket money taken away. I'm not broke. My parents just confiscated it. Don't believe her lies. I'm not lying to you. My parents really do love me. I sneer. If you're a fake, keep it low key. Otherwise, getting exposed now is embarrassing for yourself and all the lackeys who've been kissing up to you. She stands there, face flushed red, glaring hatefully before turning and running off. She can't argue back. Seeing all this, my classmates suddenly look at me differently. Hey, lucky I didn't follow you all in flattering Sunny, or tease Annie. I mean, why wouldn't the wealthiest couple love their own kid rather than the adopted one? Man, I fell for it. She was never liked by the rich folks and didn't tell us. Now I've been bashing Annie for ages and have offended the real princess. What happens to my dad's business now? Annie, from day one I thought you were so pretty. Really have your parents' great genes. Annie, remember your first day at school? I was the one who showed you the cafeteria. Hey Annie, no hard feelings, right? It was all Sunny's idea to have us do those things. Please don't take it to heart. I give them a little smile. Of course not. I understand where you were coming from. We're classmates. No need to make things ugly. It's obvious how fake they are. But I still need them to do some things for me. Like all those things they did for Sunny in the past life. Yeah, I really don't like Sunny. She's not even my parents' real kid, using our money to play princess. Who would like her? Good thing my parents don't like her anymore either. They said they'd kick her out once she's an adult. I just hate her. I hope Sunny never has another peaceful day. Now I'm buddy-buddy with those superficial classmates, saying whatever I want. I'm not worried at all if it'd ever get back to my parents. These classmates, they just drift aimlessly through school, always thinking how to latch onto princesses, or heirs stronger than themselves. What the real richest princess says, that's like the word of God. Just by the second break, Amy accidentally bumped into the water cup on Sunny's desk. Freshly boiled water spilled over her hand. Ah! A sharp cry, and Sunny looked in horror at her scalded arm, her eyes tearing from the pain. What are you doing? My cup was right in the middle of the desk, and you still knocked it over. You did it on purpose, didn't you? Amy's smile was sarcastic. Well, it seems you caught me. Sunny bit her lip. Are you nuts? What's the point in pouring it on me? Amy shrugged. I don't like the look of you, acting all high and mighty. Why are you a pheasant trying to play the phoenix? Sunny, out of rage, raised a hand to hit Amy. Amy suddenly pushed her, sending her crashing to the ground, landing hard on her already injured hand. Her flesh and blood mashed together, and she burst into tears. I know you're all bootlickers, Well, I'll report you to my parents. They won't let you get away with this. Ha! Another girl tight with Amy shot her the finger. Who are you fooling? You couldn't even handle a little help I asked from you. Guess you're not even worthy of saying a word in front of the richest couple. And now you're playing innocent. I used to be so nice to you, and this is how you repay me. You wait and see. As long as you don't transfer schools, I'll make your life miserable. Looking at those who used to fawn over me at my desk, now treating me like I'm beneath them. Sunny just snapped. She started kicking everything she could reach. Who knew she'd end up tipping over a desk? With a dull thud, she got knocked out cold. Everyone just ignored it. It wasn't until it was nearly class time that the teacher took her to the hospital. Later, my driver took me to the hospital. Sunny lay there, and instead of looking worried, Mom and Dad looked anxious. Sunny, talk to us. What happened? Even if you fell, people don't just pass out from it. Is someone at school bullying you? Tell us, we'll make sure you aren't suffering for nothing. Sunny looked like she'd swallowed a fly. Nothing happened, it was just me who fell. I felt a bit touched, even though I was the one who set this up. She was thinking of me and wouldn't rat me out. With a sister so understanding and sweet, I didn't want to let her down. I admitted, her classmates bullied her because of me. Mom and Dad were furious. Who did it? I shrugged. It was me. They were stunned. I calmly explained, there's no reason really. I just don't like her. I'm your real daughter. So why is everyone at school fawning over her? She stole my parents, my friends, my glory. So, I wanted her to suffer. If there's a next time, I'll make sure she suffers even more. Not just pass out. I rambled nonsense, but they just looked at me with love. Well, I guess it's understandable. We love you. No need to stress yourself out about it. Let's take you on a trip for a few days, just you. Sunny seemed about to faint again. It's okay, Mom and Dad. I understand my sister. But they shot her a cold look. You too, can't share a few friends with your lonely sister. Did you forget everything we told you? You're fainting and it's your own fault for being selfish. Their sense of right and wrong had been twisted. The less responsible you acted, the more they liked you. Sunny knew this all too well, eager to defend me. But they were past giving her chances. Enough, just rest. We'll send a caretaker to look after you. Reflect quietly. A flicker of venom passed in Sunny's eyes as she gripped the covers tightly. After that episode, I managed to keep Amy and the others from getting punished. This showed just how little Sunny mattered to my parents. So, back at school, Sunny faced harsher treatment. Her day began with a scream. A few ugly, venomous toads jumped from her desk onto her face. She convulsed like she was electrocuted, taking a while to get them off. She ran to puke by the trash can, only for someone to kick her into it. Another scream. Her pretty dress now filthy and reeking. You guys are too much. The class roared with laughter. Too much. And when you pretended to be a princess, wasn't that too much? Who told you to be so vain? You tricked us into liking you. We're just taking back what you stole from us. You're just a counterfeit. You belong in the trash. Why'd you crawl out? Someone go put her back in. It's not fun if she's out. She's so gross. I might throw up if I get close. Some brave soul stepped up, rolled up their sleeves, pinched their nose, and shoved her back into the trash, putting the lid on. Inside, she thrashed about wildly. After about 3 minutes, Sunny bawled. I won't let you get away with this, never. Her cries were heart-wrenching, but I felt nothing. In a past life, wasn't I the one stuck in the trash? 10 minutes later, the teacher arrived. Classmates settled down, but she didn't dare leave on her own. When the teacher found her, she just stared blankly, a strange smile on her lips. Her gaze pierced through everyone, landing straight on me. She walked over, stinking, to stand before me. Annie, you're the last person. I won't let this go. The next week, I noticed a slight shift in how my parents treated me, until I overheard them talking to Sunny through the door. So, your sister spent so much time making that face mask as a birthday gift for Mom. Sunny's voice was soft. Yeah, she's really thoughtful. I forgot it was Mom's birthday. Didn't prepare anything. So she let me pretend it was from me. Forgetting her birthday was bad enough. How could I take credit for her efforts? I didn't want to waste her kindness. So, if she asks, just say it's from me. They paused, then agreed. No wonder they were getting colder towards me. Sunny went behind my back to win over my parents. I barged in, and they all looked at me. This isn't my gift to Mom. You just wanted credit, didn't you? Are you trying to make me look bad, so you can push me out someday? Sunny, why are you taking charge of my life? I'm Mom and Dad's real daughter. Playing a spoiled brat, who only knows how to scream and shout, is ridiculously easy. No surprise, Mom and Dad's frowns deepen. because my behavior is just unbearable. The system shifts all their annoyance right onto Sunny. Their biases blinds them. They don't even think twice before snapping at Sunny. Why did you lie to us? What's the point? Is this amusing to you? Why are you making decisions for your sister? I noticed our parents were getting weird about her. Is there something wrong with you, Sunny? Sunny looked at me, frustrated, and then forced a smile at our parents. I was just trying to help. To prevent another disaster, I lifted my hand and slapped Sunny hard right in front of our parents. Don't ever decide for me again, got it? The unexpected scene left Mom and Dad frozen. Sunny just held her face, staring at me in disbelief. I snickered and pointed to the door. Get out of this house. Sunny's eyes filled with fury, and she charged at me. Our parents acted quickly, grabbing her and speaking ice-cold words. What do you think you're doing? Sunny, crying, replied, she can hit me but I can't hit her. Can you be any more biased? At this point, their annoyance with her peaked. You've disappointed us so much. How are we biased? Isn't it because you keep testing our patience? Sunny, over the years, we've legally provided for you. Turns out, you can't raise a child that isn't your own. Leave, and don't ever come back. The system Sunny was bonded to could only transfer their feelings for me onto her, but it couldn't transfer her kindness to me. Originally, under the system's influence, our parents already had a negative view of her. Now she lost control and acted out in front of them, turning it into a breaking point. They exploded, dragging her out. She resisted, clinging onto the doorstep. Maid, call the bodyguards. The maid obediently called in some strong men. They each grabbed one of Sunny's arms, dragging her out, tossing her outside like trash. The door slammed shut, and she kept yelling, Mom, Dad, are you really going to abandon me for her after raising me all these years? I'm not as bad as you think. There's a reason for all this. Don't abandon me, okay? I'll behave from now on. I just want a family. She cried at the door for ages, but Mom and Dad didn't budge. Can't believe she turned out like this. Not sure why, but she just rubs us the wrong way. Forget it. She brought this on herself. We've done all we could. No one can blame us. In the end, Sunny couldn't get the door open. She left, penniless. The next day, I still saw her at school. Not sure where she spent the night, but she looked ragged, like she aged 10 years overnight. She sat at her desk, ignoring others' taunts and jabs, until I showed up. Her eyes suddenly brightened. Annie, I raised an eyebrow at her. She rushed up and dragged me out of the classroom. In a corner of the hallway, her eyes were frantic and filled with emotion. Do you know about the system? Otherwise, why the sudden change in you? You used to be so eager to please Mom and Dad. You must have found out. I folded my arms and nodded. Yeah, I know about it. So what? What good does it do you now? You've been kicked out. You never really belonged with my family, you know. She glared at me furiously. Why do you take everything from me? Why did you have to come back? You disappeared, and I became the admired heiress. You ruined everything. The system was my gift from above. It was you who should have been kicked out. How did you even know about the system? Why? I can't stand it. I can't stand it. I will kill you. She suddenly lunged at me, her hands reaching for my neck. I dodged aside and she quickly followed. She was all mad at that point. I knew confronting her wouldn't turn out well, but the sycophants in the classroom quickly came out. Who do you think you are? Daring to hit Annie? We knew you got thrown out of the family. How dare you throw tantrums at the real princess? Each of them kicked Sunny. She stumbled countless times, yet got back up, charging at me. Fall down, and get up again. After about 10 minutes, she was kicked down one last time. She closed her eyes, and got sent to the hospital. The doctor's diagnosis was clear. She had multiple injuries, her head took several blows, concussion was inevitable, and now she has amnesia. Moreover, tests showed her brain injury was severe. Mental problems might arise. She sat absent-mindedly on the bed, watching the scenery outside, sometimes bursting into laughter, then suddenly crying. Even when she saw me, she didn't react, like she was staring at the air, until I got closer. She looked up, holding her head in pain. You, who are you? Do I know you? You seem so familiar. I slowly took her hand. I'm your sister. Come on, I'll take you home. She sat in a wheelchair as I pushed her through street after street. Finally, at the entrance of a small alley, I stopped. She looked at me, bewildered. Sister, why did you bring me here? Through her face, I saw my past life. After my parents kicked me out of the house, I also had my legs broken by a gang of bullies. She was the one who wheeled me out of the hospital and left me in front of this alley. Without hesitation, she pushed me in and left me in this chaotic place. In the eyes of some bad people, my crippled legs became a natural advantage. To make me look even more pitiful, they took my eyes, turning me into a tool for making money. I begged on the streets in endless darkness. Now, I push the wheelchair forward with all my strength. She panics at the looks from people around, as if they're about to devour her. Sis, save me, save me. The cries for help, just like in my past life, go unanswered. A year later, I saw a pitiful beggar in a bustling street. Her eyes were gone, and her legs curled up in a bizarre position. In front of her was a broken bowl with some loose change. Her beautiful, but dirty face gently opened her mouth. Please, kind souls, give me some money. I haven't eaten for days. I don't want to starve to death. I want to live. People looked at her with sympathy. As I walked past, I tossed her some coins and said a few words. You know, you were meant to beg here. You wanted too much before and arrogantly thought it was all your right. From now on, you can return to begging, but this time, you won't have a chance to rise again. I walked away smoothly. A day later, I heard she mysteriously died. The coroner's examination showed it was natural causes with no sign of murder. Only I knew. She was erased by the system. I became the only princess of the richest family. From now on, my life won't have any storms. I finally reclaimed the future that belonged to me. The end.